Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I'm the young adult librarian at the Rock Island Public Library, and today I have two books for you that are both available through our Boundless app. This first book is called Highly Illogical Behavior. And in this book, you meet two people are telling this story. So odd-numbered chapters are a kid named Solomon Reed. And Solomon's thing is he basically in the last 3 years has not left his house. And this started actually 3 years, 2 months, and 1 day by the time he turned 16. And I mean, he was able to basically enroll in online school after something happened when he was in junior high. And from then on, he's basically had a pretty severe form of agoraphobia. So he wants to be where he is, and he doesn't see this as something that's going to change. He's got some time left before college, but he's thinking, well, hey, college will be even easier to do online. But there is this girl named Lisa Prater, and she is someone who's been interested in Solomon ever since this thing that happened back in junior high. Basically, she saw it, and she knows that if she's going to get into the college that she wants, she needs sort of a compelling essay. And her idea is that she is going to write about Solomon. And her subject matter here is my personal experience with mental illness. And this is an idea, but certainly first she has to pull it off. First she has to find a way to actually talk to Solomon, because Lisa isn't just going to get to know this person, interview him as, hey, we went to school at the same time and this person is dealing with agoraphobia. No, Lisa wants to help him go outside again. That is her idea. And so she talks with her boyfriend Clark about this, and Clark's like, hey, I'm not sure about this. But I mean, Lisa is convinced. She thinks this is how she'll get into her dream school, is by helping this former classmate. And when she starts going over to Solomon's house, she gets to know him. And eventually Clark starts coming over too, and the three become friends. And so, I mean, obviously the book is about Solomon and his perspective on this. The idea that, well, okay, this is my life. I would prefer to just stay where I'm at. But as he gets to know these new friends, Lisa and Clark, he starts to think, well, the one thing I miss about being inside all the time is swimming. And his grandma is this famous local real estate agent, and her thing is hey, we got the money, let's dig a pool in your backyard. So once that starts happening, it starts to become clear that, oh, okay, this is sort of a start anyway, in terms of getting back out into the world, if only the backyard part of Solomon's world. But also, he doesn't know it, but Lisa and Clark too, as the book goes on, they're dealing with the fact that, hey, we care about this person, he is our friend, and how do we admit to him that the reason we started hanging out with him was for this college essay that Lisa wanted to write? She doesn't want to admit that she lied. She never said anything more than, hey, we used to go to school together, I was wondering if we could hang out, but it was absolutely a lie of omission. She didn't tell Solomon. And so when it comes out what she is planning to do, he's pretty upset. So the book is, I mean, Solomon's life and his parents. You learn a little bit about them. And Solomon's dad, okay, he works in Hollywood, and his mom is a dentist. So again, they're well off enough that they're able to be yes, we support the whole pool idea that your grandma has agreed to kickstart. And also, having Solomon just doing well in online school, it's well, okay, academically, our son, he's doing great, but they really are concerned, they want him to have a life outside of their house. And so nobody looks too closely, nobody asks too many questions when Lisa and then Clark start coming over. And the book title comes from the fact that, I mean, Solomon really loves Star Trek, and he loves the idea of the holodeck, the idea that you can go and experience another place without having to leave the room you're in. So if you like realistic fiction, this is a book that deals with this very specific form of mental illness, but also how like agoraphobia in the situation, you can see how this person has learned to live with it and his family's been able to make adjustments, but it's still hard because it's completely changed what his life would have been otherwise. And as Lisa and Clark get close to Solomon, they realize, okay, well, I mean, this person is a person. Like, he's not just a good essay subject. So how can we actually help this person? Or in trying to help, are we actually making things worse? So, check it out. This is the third book by John Corey Whaley. He has 3 novels out, and I read them all. I really enjoy them. Next, this is a book that's been adapted into a movie, and it is called Spontaneous. And in this book, you meet a girl named Mara. And Mara is a senior in high school, and one day she's in math class. And it's just kind of a dull afternoon. She's kind of leaning forward, digging into her bag to find like a mint or gum or something. Like, I'm gonna fall asleep. I just gotta find something to kind of like keep myself awake. And it's as she's digging through her bag that there is this terribly loud sound from the seat in front of her. And when Mara looks up, she finds that Caitlin is the girl who used to sit in front of her, except she is gone. She has just suddenly exploded. And so, for obvious reasons, school's closed. The FBI comes to investigate because what happened? You know, was this a gas leak? Was this a bomb? How could somebody just suddenly explode? Well, nobody knows. But I mean, what they start to think is, okay, well, obviously this was a 1 in a billion type thing. Like, this has never happened before. It's never going to happen again. So, I mean, Mara and her classmates, they got to go back to school. And what ends up happening is they have a support group for the kids who were in the classroom when Caitlin suddenly exploded. Because, I mean, there was blood. It wasn't just like this person evaporated. Like, no, her insides became her outsides. And so this was obviously traumatic. And so people are talking about this like, oh, yeah, you know, I didn't really know this person that well. But obviously, now she's dead, and I don't really know how to deal with this. Like, this is just a wild situation to be in. And I think Brian is the second one. Brian is also in the support group because he was in the math class. And he's talking about the fact that, yeah, this is just, I mean, 1 minute she was there, and then she was gone. And then Brian also explodes. So that's 2. That's 2 people in the senior class that this has happened to. And nobody knows what it is, and nobody knows why it's happening. So school is canceled again. And basically, Mara, she knows that there's a couple kids in her class. They're twins. They're brother and sister. And she's thinking, okay, these are the 2 people in the class where everybody knows if you want to buy drugs, you go to them. And she texts, like, they've gone to school, like, all through their school lives together, like, since kindergarten, basically. And she texts them, like, hey, do you want to, like, you know, we don't have to go to school. Let's go to Dunkin' Donuts. Let's hang out. So they go, and I mean, the 3 of them meet up, but then they decide, oh, we're just gonna like drive around. And the brother is driving, and his sister's in the passenger seat. Mara is in the back. And she's like, hey, this is gonna sound weird, I'm sure, but I have to ask because I'm wondering, and everybody's worried about this whole people suddenly exploding thing. I know that both Caitlin and Brian bought drugs from you in the past. Could you have sold them something that would make them explode, like nitroglycerin or something? And both the twins are like, no, absolutely not. We sell, like, Ritalin. We're not into anything that would make a person explode. Like, we go to this shady dentist who kind of works at the edge of town, and that's where we buy our stuff. I don't believe he has access to anything that would make a person blow up. So what happens next is they're kind of not on a main road. They've sort of been driving back behind the golf course, just kind of back in this quiet area. Except it doesn't stay quiet for long because the brother, who's driving the car, suddenly explodes. And obviously this is terrible. His sister is right there, and she sees it happen. And they're twins. They're very close. And Mara's like, oh, I'm so sorry, but hey, could you please hit the brakes? Because we're in a moving car, and if you could stop the car, that would be great. So, I mean, the sister tries. She tries to, like, get her foot on the brake pedal, and then she, too, explodes. So Mara is left in this car with the remains of 2 people, and she can't see out the windshield, because there's blood. And she tries to, like, crawl from the back seat and, you know, hit the brakes, but the car crashes. Luckily, they weren't going fast, so she's not badly hurt. But still, she ends up in the hospital, and now Mara has witnessed all 4 of these explosions. But soon there's more. There's other members of the senior class that this happens to. And Mara's best friend thinks it's some sort of weird form of spontaneous human combustion. Now, spontaneous human combustion, we know, like, you can watch videos on this. It's one of those things where there are historical reports of this. I will say it seems to be a combination of things, where typically somebody spontaneously combusts because they maybe had some kind of substance in their system, whether it was alcohol or some other drug, and maybe they fell asleep while smoking, and then that's how they combusted. It's, again though, it's fire. Like, it's a situation where you find a body where most of it's burned to ash, and then, like, maybe a foot will be left. And it's strange because, like, why didn't the whole body burn? Why did it burn so fast? Well, that's a weird thing, but this isn't that. Like, people aren't combusting, they're just bursting. And so the book is Mara and her boyfriend and her best friend trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to survive this year? Because it appears that it's just our class, it's just the senior class at our school. And eventually they end up, like, in a lockdown situation where they're not allowed to leave the school because people want to figure out, okay, what is this? What's causing this to happen? Can it be cured? Can we prevent other people from exploding? So it's a very funny, gory book. I enjoyed it a lot. And if you're interested, this is, again, sort of realistic fiction, but with the explosion part. That part is sci-fi. But yeah, check this out. And again, you can also watch the movie. And again, both of these books are available through our Boundless app. So if you want to check them out, that's just the app you need to download, and all you need is your library card. And thank you for watching. I will see you again next week.